Hey, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Christian here, and you're tuned in for more of my 2 cents. If you are new to the channel, then welcome. Thank you so much for coming through today. Hopefully you will, click around, stick around, listen to the story or the dialogue, enjoy it, and decide to join the 2 cent crew, because we would love to have you. If you are a returning 2 center, my people, how are y'all doing today? Let's get into it. Now, the 3 points that matter most before we start any discussion. Number 1, you're not alone. Number 2, you're not crazy. Number 3, God, your creator, still loves you, and I do too. Okay, so I'm back. Okay, I'm back on camera. I'm giving y'all what you're supposed to give, and hopefully this will tide y'all over. Now, y'all gonna get 3 videos with my face in it this week. I can't say what y'all gonna get for the rest of the month, but this week y'all gonna get these face videos. Okay, so let's be excited. If I had some hand claps, I'll do woo! I don't know, I might be able to generate some hand claps out here for y'all. I might be able to now. I don't know. We gonna see. Wait a minute. Let me see something. I should have did this before I started, right? But I didn't think about it. But we family, so I'm gonna do it right now. Debbie, I like that. I like that aesthetic better, right? Like, let me give y'all a little fluffy. Oh, there we go. All right, so now we got a little white background for the disc and whatnot. Okay. So I do this thing where you guys can send in questions, topics, share your story of deconstruction, anything you've dealt with in church, in religion, spirituality, whatever your journey may be. You can share those things with me, and I will give my 2 cents. I will read your short story, share your story, and give an unbiased opinion on it or feedback on it. And you guys have done really well with sending things in that have been really, really good. Real good, okay? And I love to share it. And so I'm excited to get into today's. I do want to give a trigger warning because there is some talk of DV in the story. And I think that is very important in case anybody may be triggered by it or anybody may, feel some kind of way about the information that's going to be shared. There will be some talk of that from this email. This is from a subscriber and a 2-center. So thank you so much for sending it in. I'm going to keep you anonymous as promised. No one usually ever asks me to keep them anonymous, but I do on my own. I just think that it's the best thing to do because I do YouTube. You don't. So I ain't trying to put your business all the way out there. Even though you emailed it to me, I still want to give you some privacy, okay? If you would like to share your story, suggest a topic, or ask me a question that can be answered in a video, go ahead and send that to my2centmatters@gmail.com. That's my2centmatters with an S@gmail.com. So let's jump into it. It says, "Hi, 2cent. Hey." I love your videos. I listen to a few on my way to work since I have a 2-hour commute every day. I truly appreciate you. I wanted to share my story with you. I grew up in a very strict Christian household. I went to church every day. I was a part of the prayer group, youth group, dance ministry. I was a missionary. I was a children's minister, teacher, and I was a True Love Weight ambassador. What is that? Now, you had me up until the True Love Weight ambassador. Is it like a chastity belt type of situation? Okay, honey. They taking Chase to another level. True Love waits. All right? Don't give it up. You got to wait. Be an ambassador for true love. Be an ambassador for true love. Come on, somebody. We ain't mad at it. All right. I didn't date much because my dad was so strict. And if I did and he found out, it was my life or the boy. I picked my life. I was only allowed to go to school, church, and more church. My dad would beat me if I didn't go to church. If I wore weaves, it was demonic. I was punished for that. It was so horrible. Reverse. What you mean your dad would beat you if you didn't go to church? Why? See, this be the stuff. This be the stuff, y'all, that be sending me. Like an email. Sent. The sound emails make when you send them. What do you mean? the indoctrination for me, which I've talked about several times in my other videos, where I do not think it's okay for children to not have a say in the beliefs that they actually have to practice. Majority of us who have certain belief systems and were raised in Christian households, Muslim households, Jehovah's Witness, whatever, FLDS, FLMA, okay, that's what I call them, the FLMA religion. Whatever religion you grew up in, you did not pick it. Nobody asked you if you wanted to do that. Nobody asked you if you wanted to go to service, if you wanted to take communion, if you wanted to be prayed for or over, if you wanted to be taught how to speak in tongues or forced. Nobody asked you. It was forced upon you. It wasn't even given to you. It was forced upon you. And this story right here is proving that. Being hit for not going to church, disgusting. Those kind of action does not make anybody want to do something more. It repels their interest. Ridiculous. And I hate that happened to you. So I apologize on behalf of all of us children who understand that it wasn't a choice. It was a force. It was a forced doctrine that you were chastised for not adhering to. It's ridiculous. After graduating from college, I moved to Philadelphia and I was introduced to More Church. It was a different kind of church. It was about prophecy, speaking in tongues, and name it and claim it. I became very involved in it because it felt good for a bit, but never really did anything long term. It was like a high, like a drug. When you get sober, nothing made sense. Well, that would explain majority of the church experiences, because we was in a trance. We were in a trance-like state where we weren't really, little belly button showing, y'all, let's button it up. We were in a trance-like state where nothing really made sense and nobody really expected any explanation. Like, you go in, you check your brain as soon as you put your car in park, or as soon as you touch the door handle at the building. You stopped actually thinking for yourself. You stopped actually having common sense. You stopped actually functioning with logic. Nobody wants to do that at church. Logic for what? Right? Critical thinking for what? For what? Why are we thinking for ourselves? Why are we really trying to make sense of what was read versus what we're actually seeing in manifestation, in outward, right? Manifestation is simply an outward occurrence that can be witnessed by the eye and seen by other people. That's what it is. It's an external visual representation. You got to a church that was about name it and claim it, and prophecy and speaking in tongues. Sounds like holiness, right? The only problem with majority of these environments is that, again, like I've talked about in other videos, it evokes emotions while you're in the setting, but when you leave, nothing about you has changed. You can get this same response and reaction from just listening to certain music at your house, in your car, and just start thinking about certain things that makes you sad or makes you happy, and you'll get happy from that. You'll feel sad from that. You'll want to cry. Whatever the case may be, there are certain things in certain environments that are triggered by certain occurrences. Usually in church, it's music. Praise and worship, certain chords, certain notes, all of that stuff, they drive the service accordingly to get emotions out of you. And you leave and you're not able to tap back into none of that. You go back to snapping on folks, being angry, being wishy-washy, being, what's that word? Indecisive. You don't have any clarity. You don't have any peace. You don't have any direction. Like, you're literally just pushed back out there from having all of this faith in action and all this excitement and joy. So now it's like, what do I do next? Where I go? Well, where we going after this? Because I can't do this by myself. You haven't received any tools to actually live in the real world. But for 2 hours, you were held captive in a trance to make you think that everything was about to get better and be all right, and you're going to have blessings on blessings and miracles on miracles and abundance and live forever and all this other stuff. And you don't really have what you need. And like you said, it was a high that felt good, But then it didn't last long term. That's the story for most. Majority. Okay. One of the prophets gravitated towards me. He thought I was beautiful and smart. So he decided to hook me up with, okay, so this was the part I meant to correct it. One of the prophets gravitated towards me. She thought, okay, because in the email it says he. She thought I was beautiful and smart. So she decided to hook me up with her nephew, my ex-husband. He told me one day God told him I was his wife. And his aunt said she heard it as well. Well, see, this becomes a problem for me because, as I told y'all before, I don't trust nobody's word about my life more than I trust my word about my life. There's nothing you can tell me about me from my creator that I either have not already heard or B, that I do not already believe. You don't have no new fresh word or manna concerning Christian. You don't. Because if it ain't been checked in my spirit already, then you're going to have to go have a seat. Go give that word to somebody else, because God didn't tell you nothing concerning me. If I have not already heard it and you're not just confirming it, I do not receive it. If I do not already believe it and it's not already faith in action and being something I'm already accepting and aligning with, what you're saying to me is going in the trash. Okay. We have got to stop letting other people manipulate us with God said or God showed me. God didn't say it to me and God didn't show it to me. So whatever you heard, go over there and sit down with them until I can confirm it. There is nothing that one of my children's friends can come to them and say, oh yeah, your mama told me that. No, your mama didn't, because I'm your mother. You live in the house with me, so I would be speaking directly to you, right? Why I need to go through sister so-and-so or prophetess such and such or deacon brother what? No, speak to me. Don't speak through he for me, speak to me. But that requires relationship. That also requires sense, critical thinking, logic, anybody? But as we're going to hear in this story, our good sis is going to let us know that she was just going along because that's all she knew. And it's about the checking of the brain. Don't check your brain at the door, but check your brain to make sure that it actually makes sense to you. Don't pass your brain off to somebody else to control. Control it yourself. No, I don't believe that. I don't receive that. The most profound time that I remember somebody coming to me and my husband with the God showed me about, about you, would be when we were in Mississippi. And we had some friends to come over. They were already jilted and upset because we were elevating and surpassing them. And I guess this was their way of holding us back and getting us to, come back under submission. For whatever sick reason, I don't know, because we were never submitted to them. But this, I guess, was going to be their last-ditch effort to get us to get back in line. And so they came over to our house. We had just had our son. This was like 2015. And they come over. It's a beautiful Sunday. I'll never forget it. And they sit on our couch, and the wife starts going in on my husband while her husband's sitting there, which I thought was kind of weird. I'm like, why is she talking to my husband and not her husband talking to my husband? But she goes on to say, God showed me X, Y, and Z. He showed me this about you. He showed me that and all this other stuff. Me and my husband are just sitting there, letting her talk, letting her say what she want to say. And I wasn't upset. But I was annoyed because I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, where are you getting this stuff from? And people have a thought that if they think you're not mature enough spiritually or you're not on their level, they can manipulate you with spiritual speech, with certain terms that will make you hasten or feel like, oh my goodness, like, no, I don't want to be out of the will of God, or no, I don't want to feel God's wrath. Let me correct that. Let me fix that because she warned me of that. I don't care what you warn me of. If I myself have not heard it, or if I myself do not already believe it, you can keep it to yourself. Because I'm in the place I need to be with my creator, to where your words for me should just be confirmation. Because I should already be feeling it and aligned with it and already aware of it. There's nobody in any church or any religious group that should have more access to who or what you are than you do. And that's where people fall short and start placing these religious figures, these influential, high-level pastors or leaders on a pedestal as if though they have to go to them to hear a word from their own creator. Y'all should all be on equal level and footing. If y'all all reading the same book, if y'all really all got the same belief, there should be nothing Pastor so-and-so can tell you that God hasn't already told you. When did there become a hierarchy in religion? When y'all created it. When y'all allowed it. When y'all stepped out of the way for receiving for yourselves in order to receive through somebody else's conduit. It's ridiculous. Why would I go get water from somebody else with a bottle of water when I have my own faucet? It's stupid. That's how it looks. When you all are out here tapping into somebody else's source or information, when you have your own, you're bypassing your own refrigerator to go get fed from somebody else's plate. When you have all the ingredients to make it yourself. Let me get back to this email. I never questioned anyone because, the prophet said it, so it shall come to pass. So she hooks you up with her nephew. He tells you God showed him you were his wife, and she say, yes, she saw it too. And you believed it because it's the prophet, so surely got to come to pass. This is the indoctrination that leads to the situations that we're about to get into. And I hate, again, that this happened to you. But your mind had already been captivated by your father. You'd already been put in a stronghold by your daddy. The religion that was forced upon you, you didn't have a choice, so you just fell in line with everything that came with that indoctrination. The abuse, the manipulation, the mind control. You weren't thinking for yourself. Did you believe this man was your husband? Did you like him? Were you attracted to him? That's what should matter, not what the prophet said. Oh, so we dated for 2 years and got married. Well, honey, it's the most terrifying, most traumatizing, and heartbreaking experience. I was physically, emotionally, and spiritually abused every single day. I went to the pastor. They didn't do anything for me. Matter of fact, this pastor in Delaware, I'm not going to say the name. That's what she put in parentheses. However, I went to him multiple times about the abuse. He saw me in church with bruises on my face. He didn't care. He told us if we sowed a seed of $2,000, God would fix the marriage. I'm going to reread that. I went to him multiple times about the abuse. He saw me in church with bruises on my face. He didn't care. He told us if we sowed a seed of $2,000, God would fix the marriage. I have about $500. In the meantime, we couldn't even afford to eat or pay our bills. You sowed a seed to stop getting beat. Dora blinks. Refer to my video a couple of weeks ago or a month or so ago when I said, you're the weapon that has been formed. Y'all love talking about no weapon formed against me shall prosper. But y'all don't even be realizing you're the motherfucking weapon. What kind of pastor does not instruct you to go file a restraining order and to separate from someone using you as a punching bag, but instead to sow a seed for God to fix your marriage? Disgusting. Despicable. And if hell is real, you know the rest. All right. So you didn't have a full 500. So what does that mean? You still gonna catch these hands. You just gonna get a discount? Like, I ain't gonna be able to really, God ain't gonna really fix the whole marriage because you ain't had a full 2,000. So you still gonna catch these hands. And you're just gonna be a little, like, you ain't gonna bruise as much. Like, God can't do the full fix, though. God can just, like, keep him from getting angry every day. He only gonna get angry once a week. That's disgusting. My father, who is also a pastor, didn't do anything. Of course your daddy didn't do nothing, sis. Your daddy was hitting you too. He started it. He laid the foundation for the Mike Tyson situation. He did. He did. It was a conditioning of sorts. That's why I don't understand why people think when children become adults or as people grow up, the past has nothing to do with the adult that they are. Everything that happens to you in your childhood shapes who you become as an adult. You just become an older version of that person. You never stop being that person or the experiences you had. It makes you who you are. It's the foundation, for crying out loud. So if your dad was hitting you and he was the head of your home, he was the voice in your family, he was the deciding factor, the determining figure that either made your life heaven or hell, which it was hell, that became your social norm. That became your expectation level of other people in other settings, specifically religious settings. So you having your space and your persons attacked, you didn't have a red flag there because you were already exposed to it in your childhood, that you became used to it and it became a norm. It didn't become something you had to escape because you couldn't escape it as a child. You had to live with your abuser as a child. You had to keep going to church with your abuser as a child. So now that you get married to an abuser, you still live with that abuser. You still go to church with that abuser. You tell on the abuser, but the people at church do nothing about that. Anybody see a correlation here of how the indoctrination only benefits the people who want to subject you to more of the abuse? Of course nobody wants people to deconstruct. Of course nobody wants people to watch these kind of videos. Because it may actually flick off a light for some people. Like, wait a minute. Yes, I did have an introduction to trauma early, and it has carried over into what I allow to happen to me. Of course that's happening to me. And nobody's going to say anything. Because why would they? Why would they mess up the access to controlling people? Power is a hell of a drug. Everybody can't handle it. I like the power to choose for myself. I don't like to use my power to make other people miserable. I don't like to use my power to harass my children or make them come to be subjected to my anger or just being a whole tyrant. Jerking them around, messing with them, doing stuff to them because they can't do nothing about it. They can't defend themselves. They can't report me. That's sick. Or even with my husband was a very, very, very nice man. He's a good man, Savannah. He's a very nice man. I know that, but I would never do anything that would allow me to mistreat or take advantage of him, which would be exercising my power, because I know he loves me and he'll do anything for me. I've said this in videos before. When you are truly a genuinely good person, or you're a stable-minded person, you don't even think of abusing people that you could abuse. I could be at my workplace right now. Well, not right now, but on any given day with my team, with my employees, abusing my power. Because they need a check, they need the hours, they need somewhere to work, they need this money. Power. We all have power in some way, shape, form, or fashion over other people, over other people's, life, over other people's relationships. You can put a lie out there right now and exercise your power to tear somebody's household. You can go in somebody's job right now and cut up and act up and say they did something to your food or did something to you or gave you an attitude and mess up their job or their livelihood right now on the spot. We all have power. I think the sickest form of exercising power is when you demean people, when you disrespect people, when you dilute people's value for no reason at all. This is ridiculous. And again, I am sorry that any of this happened to you. My father, who is also a pastor, didn't do anything. If you ask him today, he will tell you he doesn't remember anything, but it's okay. I was looking and seeking help, and no one cared. I went from church to church, from pastor to pastor. Nothing. Nothing. One pastor told me my ex-husband hated me because I was married to another man in the spirit. What? I'm going to read it again. One pastor told me my ex-husband hated me because I was married to another man in the spirit. Mind you, I was a virgin when I got married. What is going on? So far, we have 3 pastors in this story. Your father being one, trash. The second pastor told you to sow $2,000 to stop getting beat. Now we have a pastor telling you, a third pastor, telling you that your husband hated you, your ex-husband hated you at the time because you were married spiritually to another man? Who? And how does this pastor know that that's the reason? What is going on at these churches? Not chicken. What's going on at these churches? I'm hitting y'all with the door blinks because I'm waiting for the answers. Who even comes up with this stuff, y'all? I am at the point where I don't even want to raise my voice no more because I'm shocked that any of this stuff is possible. Another pastor told me I probably did something wrong and I needed to repent. And fast for 7 days to remove the bad spiritual husband. The man was still being abusive. So you fasted, you repented for being married to someone else in the spirit that you don't even know. That they just made up. They didn't just gave you another husband somewhere, honey. And it didn't work. The sowing of the $500 because you didn't have the $2,000. That's why you kept getting them hands, because you didn't have all the seed. God don't work unless you give the full thing, okay? That didn't work. Now you needed to repent and fast for 7 days to get rid of the spiritual husband that you don't know about. That didn't work. So I decided to leave him after having 2 kids with him. He's not paying child support. Of course he's not. Of course he's not. Because, however, every single day he calls the kids to pray about demonic spirits in my home. Says God doesn't like divorce and I divorced him. Apparently, I'm outside of God's grace. No, you're outside of abuse. You're outside of manipulation. You're outside of control. You're outside of gaslighting. This is my channel, so I can say what I want. No disclaimer. He would not be able to talk to the children he does not send child support to. Because ain't no way you calling my phone and talking to kids that you don't send no money for. You don't even know how this damn phone working or how it's getting paid, but you don't call and talk about me to the kids. You're going to call and tell them that there are spirits in my home because I'm not at the house with you getting hit by said spirit? Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. Now, I ain't got no problem him talking to the kids if you want to talk about kid things. Don't get on this phone again and talk about anything that does not have to do about you and these children. Don't talk about my home. We're better off because you're not in it. It's actually a home because you're not in it. It's not a hostile environment. It's not a hostage situation because you're not in it. It's actually a home. If I hear you on this phone saying anything else other than daddy can't wait to see you, what y'all want to do next time I come get you, if y'all ain't talking about grades and accolades, I'm going to have to end this call disrespectfully. This man has gone out of his way to make my life miserable. He would send me Bible verses about how God doesn't like divorce and how the blood is on my hands for breaking the marriage covenant. No, the blood is on his hands, literally. After multiple times of physical abuse, I never reported any of it because of religion, because of culture, and because of the church. I'm not writing this stuff. Y'all are. I'm not making this stuff up. This is y'all experiences. And I'm saying that because I want you to know none of this is for entertainment. It's informative. Hopefully it's a red flag. Hopefully it's the push you need to remove yourself. Thank you. I'm not even done, but thank you for sharing this. Thank you for being bold enough and strong enough to share this. Thank you for being authentic and transparent enough to share this. Thank you for being healed enough to share this. Because see, the first healing had to take place for you to leave. The second healing that had to take place was for you not to return. The third healing that had to take place was for you to share this and understand that it was never you, but it was always them. At church, thus saith the Lord, no weapon formed against you continue to prosper. The weapon formed against you continue to prosper at their hands, literally. I never reported any of it because of religion, because of culture, and because of the church. I decided to start my life all over and to see the level of ridiculousness that's going on in the church community. That's what has kept you back from going back, because you're out of it. When you come out of church in that environment and that culture, and you stay out for at least 30 days, your life will never go back to being the same. It's like an awakening. I told y'all before about how all of this church involvement and people wanting you to be at church all the time and every week and every other day for all these services and all of these events, it's on purpose, because if they can't get into your head and stay in your head, you have more of a possibility, you have more opportunity to hear your own voice again instead of theirs. So they got to have Monday night prayer and Bible study and prayer group sessions and small groups and Friday night youth service and evangelistic night, and Saturday is I don't know, they got to do something. Sunday service, 2 services. They got to stay in brain. They have to stay embedded in your brain, because if not, you'll start hearing your own voice again, which is logic, which is critical thinking, which is common sense. They don't want you to do that. They don't want you to have access to your voice. They need to become the new voice that you hear at all times. You got out, so you're able to see the foolery and stay away from it. But had you had enough independence, even in your practice of religion, you would have known that he and his auntie was a lie from the beginning with a D. From the beginning, you would have been able to discern, oh, this is some bullshit. He ain't my husband. He ain't my husband no more than the sun is actually in my purse. No, thank you. I'm good. Nope. It's not my business what you think about me. It wasn't my business what people thought about me. I didn't care. If you didn't like me, if you didn't like my attitude, my disposition, you told me what God showed you about me, it didn't matter. I don't care. I'm not going to follow. I'm not going to change. I'm not going to adhere to that. The friends that came over to the house to tell my husband about himself and what they saw and what God showed them didn't matter. After they left, my husband and I had a discussion about what we believe about ourselves, and it wasn't what they said. We didn't care. It would then come out and soon be presented that their feelings were ill will towards us because they didn't like relationships we were forming. So they wanted us to pretty much stop. They wanted us to fall back. They wanted to become the influence. They wanted us to be little proteges, but it was never giving that. So let's throw thus saith the Lord out here. Let's stop them in their tracks. Let's halt what we see happening. And eventually, we pulled the plug. We disconnected. We chunked up the deuces and moved. We didn't even stick around just a little bit. We left the whole city and state. Too many demonstrations is enough for me. I'm not giving you no encore performances. You're going to get one, maybe two opportunities. And I'm going to leave you alone forever. In closing, majority of the men in the church don't want to date women who have been married before or who have children. I remembered one day I was listening to this one guy at church saying he's looking for a smart, educated, beautiful woman. I thought, wait, that's me. LOL. Girl, I was shut down. I was filthy rag because I'm divorced. I've decided to divorce the church as well. Come on, sentence. Come on, sentence. You don't want me because I'm divorced? I decided to divorce the church. You don't want me because I got kids? I decided I no longer want to be a child of this ministry. No. You can't have my membership. No. I'm not coming. No. You won't get my tithes. No. You won't get my time. No. If I'm not good enough, then I'm not going here. If I'm not good enough, I don't have to be present. If I'm not good enough, what you want me around for? To mistreat me? To ignore me? To overlook me? Sorry, find y'all another sucker. Find y'all another lollipop to lick, baby, because I ain't the one. I'm not a lick. You ain't hitting a lick with me because I got somewhere else to be. And it was never giving sitting in this ministry. Go where you belong. Go where it serves you. If that's at churches, if that's at Popeyes, if that's at the park, if that's at the mall, if that's the movies, if that's the gym, if that's down to the bowling alley, go where it serves you, where you enjoy it. You ain't got to stick around for that. Girl, I love that. I was filthy rag because I'm divorced. So I've decided to divorce the church as well. If you think that my past dictates my worth, if you think what another man subjected me to, I didn't sign up for that. I was subjected to that in church, and then I'm still in church, and y'all gonna tell me I'm not good enough no more because of one of y'all very own doing me wrong? Make it make sense. She was abused by someone at church. Had a family, did everything that she was supposed to do. Stuck it out, stuck it through. God hate divorce. Don't leave your husband. She did all that. She's not damaged goods because somebody else was damaged. She was delivered from it. But that's not good enough for y'all. Y'all will still separate people from the love of God. Y'all will still separate people from the will of God. Oh, no, I don't want you. I can't have you. You have kids by men that abuse me in church. What? I'm not good enough because I got used by somebody else in church? Disgusting. Disgusting. Let's be very clear. Okay? Now I'm in the process of deconstructing. I have 2 kids and I want to teach them differently. Thank you again for reading and thank you again for your videos. You are welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Shout out to Maui. Okay? Shout out to Maui on girl, what? Moana. Maui from Moana. Oh my. So much more I want to say, but I feel like the email has done its job. I don't know when y'all gonna turn these churches into community centers. When is that gonna happen? Like, y'all got a date, a time, an idea? When is we turning these churches into community centers for the peoples? Cooling centers for when it's hot and warming centers for when it's cold, and when we doing it? When we gonna start taxing these churches? Forget the 501c3. Honey, run them taxes to me. When are we going to stop separate church and state? Don't separate church and state no more. Bring them together. Because I'm starting to think that the separation of church and state was so that the church can continue to abuse people and keep them in a certain state that will never allow them to actually be of a benefit to society. Because I know for a fact that religion is playing a huge part of Black people not being free. I know for a fact. I know that for a fact. There is nothing, nobody can convince me otherwise. Religion is definitely the reason why majority of Black people are still enslaved mentally. But whenever y'all ready for that conversation, let me know. We ain't got to go there today. We ain't got to go there next month. But we going to get there eventually. And I'm going to take my time and do it right. And y'all gonna feel it. Y'all gonna know when I hit y'all. When I hit y'all with these facts and this truth and these correlations, y'all are not gonna be able to deny. Go back and look at my video about the toxic church culture, part 1 and 2. The breakdown is right there for you if you like it, if you'd want to watch it. I've seen so many other videos here recently confirming everything I said in that video earlier this year. From other people with larger platforms now saying that, yes, the church was literally created for slaves. The Black church in the state that it's in now was given specifically for the purpose of control. And it is working. It is working. And again, the only generational curses that y'all need to be concerned about breaking are the obsessions and the curses generationally y'all continue to pass down for y'all obsession with pastors, for y'all obsession with being controlled. Some of y'all don't know what to do if somebody's not controlling you, if y'all not getting permission from y'all covering. Play Uno. Don't play with me. Go get you a game board. Don't play with me. Go find you a Game Boy. Don't play with me. I've seen it all, I've gone through it all, and I understand it all. And I know for a fact that majority of people with religious beliefs, specifically Christianity, y'all are being played with right now. Hate it for you, but it's the truth. All right, if y'all have enjoyed this video, thank you so much for sending in the video. Not the video, but the email. I appreciate it. I have enjoyed recording it. I look forward to your responses in the comment section. Let me know what you think about the story that has been shared today. The indoctrination, the abuse, the hurt, the pain, and the deliverance from it all. Shout out to you for being healed enough to share, healed enough to stand strong, and healed enough to not return. That says a lot. All right, y'all, drop down in the description box below and get the email address if you'd like to share your story or ask me a question and have a topic covered by me right here on the My 2 Cents channel. Until next time, I'll catch y'all the next one. Bye.